Well, hello there boys and girls. Let me show you the other side of the bridge. You have to excuse my hair being a little bit messy today, but it's a pretty windy day. I'll have to put it back a bit. Just want to show you that's the other end of the bridge. There. Right, so what have I been up to? Found out lots of stuff actually. If you're wondering why the Autodesk the MudWalker masterclasses went offline, that was basically because we broke the server. The hits were so great that it brought the server to a grinding halt, which takes some down with that server, I'll tell you. Then on top of that, they've said they're going to have them back up, by the way, but they're going to put them up in 9 languages, with subtitles in 9 languages. Now, you see, to everybody else, that's a really great thing, right? Because if you don't speak English or you can't understand my bloody accent, you'll be able to follow along. But there's only one big problem. See, for me, that means I'm now going to get not just one set of emails saying, how do I do this, how do I do that, why is that not working? Because they send it to me, you know, not Autodesk, they send it to me. It means they're now going to be in 9 bloody languages, which is not good. I've short enough time to get shit done at the moment without having to worry about stuff in 9 separate fucking languages. So how did the masterclass go? It went very well actually. People reaction to it. I didn't have anybody have a whinge. I think most people who had a problem with me, because a lot of it is down to basically people who don't like me or what I stand for, because they don't like the idea I do stuff for free, kept the gob shut. Although you could sort of feel the bitterness radiating at times, you know, but I don't let that bother me. MudWalker. When I announced MudWalker and Relight, the 2 plugins I've been writing for MudWalker 2010, it was interesting because I was expecting about 5 or 6 guys saying, "Oh, cool, that's excellent, I look forward to that," and a couple of questions, and that being it. What actually happened was, on Twitter especially, it was an absolute Twitter storm for a good, 6 hours. You know, on Twitter it was basically just all went completely sort of mad with really positive stuff, which is great, unexpected. It also put a fair bit of pressure on me, because instead of there only being a handful of people actually using MudWalker, now it looks like at least 90% of all MudBox users, probably 100%, will be using it. So I've got to, you know, get it spot on as I can. Now MudWalker will be available the moment MudBox 2010 ships. Initially it'll go to the subscribers, and then it'll go to everybody else, right? Now, at the moment, I know when it was due out, when it's due out, right? And you haven't got long to wait, even unless there's some sort of rethink. I know there's a certain bit of MudWalker was integrated by Autodesk into MudBox. Well, let's just say something very similar, a similar capability, but you'll find that yourself. But I think it's fairly obvious where, you know, because they've got the code to MudWalker, right? Or one of well, not the early code, sort of mid-range code, because I need to get things checked over, make sure it was all, you know, ship shape, and before Autodesk start mentioning it to anybody that it's not got like a lot of viruses or it's not a really elaborate Trojan or something, you know. So they know how it works and stuff. I have sort of been asked about a Mac version. I have been talking to a few people about that. We're going to try and change the focus on it because this looks a bit dark to me. I think that's right, I don't know. I'll have to do it like that. I do apologise if you can't see us. I've been talking to some people actually from Autodesk, and they've offered to compile it for me as a Mac version. So there may be a couple of little changes, you know, because I'm not used to writing for platform independent stuff, but I can't see too many issues. The biggest issue is actually going to be the paths to all the different programs, because there's quite a lot added now. I've added since last time. I'm trying to remember what I've added since last time now. I've added XSI. That's got a perfect interrupt backwards and forwards, right? The same as Mac, same as Maya. I've also got a one-way, well technically it's two-way, one-way into Silo, latest version. It'll open Silo up with your OBJ in it, you press save, and it'll save at the same location. the OBJ import will be FUBAR at the moment because there was changes made to the SDK, which now means I've got to write my own OBJ importer, which is no mean feat, right? But I'm sure everybody can import from the right location for a little while. If you can't, tough. I've also added a partial interop with Modo 401. It's not completely tested yet, but I added it last night, and it looks to be two-way, right? But basically, the Modo guys, the users are going to be my beta testers for that because I've got no real way of testing it. I don't use Modo, right? So there you go. Because a lot of people ask for Modo, because I know they were saying that certain company were going to make a big play of their version, of MudWalker. Because let's face it, mine's out first. The idea was there a long time ago, but let's not get into that fucking argument there. But it's supporting a lot of applications now. I've had a word with Christy, who writes Topo Gun, and he's prepared to add a button, a special button in Topo Gun that will go boom boom, and it will send your retop mesh back to Mudbox, right? So you can rebake it and re-UV or whatever, do what you like, which is absolutely bloody fantastic, right? Now ideally I'd like all application makers to do this, but the ones that have got deals with companies like Pixelogic for interop aren't going to go out of their way to make it easy for me. I have one message for people who maybe own some of these firms, right? I want to pick up the firms that maybe they have dealings with. Please don't ask me to remove your application from MudWalker, because my reply is this: fuck off. I spent too much money and too much time trying to put this together. Nothing's getting removed. It is not my fault if you've made it so incredibly bloody easy that I can add it in 10 minutes. And actually, I'm oversimplifying there, but basically I spent a long time on the architecture, which means that 85% of all applications through the applications are very easy to add now. I only need a handful of bits of information. The other sort of 15%, some of them are impossible, maybe 5% is impossible, some of them are just very hard, right? XSI was a right pain in the backside. There are a lot of issues that are not pretty obvious that I've had to solve, such as FBX. I use FBX as a transport medium between the big apps, right? But FBX doesn't have the same compatibility right away across the board. And one particular app, I won't tell you which one it is, and it's not Mudbox, has a problem where it works at a completely different scale to all the others, right? Everything else works in sort of centimetres and it works in inches, right? Now that, I had to code a special routine that would select all the meshes in the scene and scale them up the right amount before exporting again, all sorts of fiddly shit. So it's not a simple application, simple plugin, far from it. In fact, if you see the size, you look at the file size of all the plugins, right, in your Mudbox plugins folder, it's quite halfway up the fucking list, right, because it's got a lot of shit in it. There's things that people aren't aware can do yet. Some things I won't cover, pipeline wise, a little bit further down the line. Right, I'm going to see if this can tell me how much time I've been spending. 8 minutes. It's amazing you can't see the fucking clock from this side. So yeah, it's so there's a lot of stuff that should go. That's already on the fucking server now. All the installs, 32-bit and 64-bit's already sorted. Mac version, well, the Mac guys are used to waiting, but I really did want to get this XSI in for the XSI guys because they always end up getting left behind. So this time I've tried to make sure they're not left behind. Modo again, I know sometimes they get left behind and stuff. I want to prove this is not just Autodesk wall to wall, right? I've added things that I use mainly, but also things other people use. But I've also put in things that are only in my special build that you won't see. You'll never see it in the video of my build. That's stuff I use personally. There's things I can add that are not advisable, maybe, or that I would, really would get knee bashing if I did. I'm not going to say what they are, but there you go. Also, my Wacom is fucked. We will cover this in the next section, but basically it's lost tracking, it's screwed, it will not work, right? It's a very expensive paperweight, which is rather ironic given that Wacom were one of the sponsors for the SIGGRAPH Masterclasses. Now, why I say ironic is because they will not even reply to my fucking emails, because I'm at the sort of level now where, sponsorship and things like that happens, you know what I mean? I get a lot of free stuff off Autodesk. Granted, the majority of it is stuff I'll never use because it's not my sort of thing, you know what I mean? But you can't sell it by the way, it's all what you call not for resale copies. So basically, I've got a shelf full of this shit, right? That I'm never going to use, and I can't give away. I can't sort of like sell, and it's worth a fucking fortune. So I'm sitting there with nothing. Some days unable to like feed my family, with, you know, 100 grand's worth of software on my shelf, which is very strange. Anyway, let's check the time. Right, I'm going to call it a day on this one, and we'll do part 2 in a minute. Bye.